Hey everybody, I'm back to show you how to knit your first row, and beyond that, you would have just finished casting on in the last video that I showed you, and so you'd be right here. And then from this point, all you do is turn your needle around so that the point is facing to your right. I do like to tie up this tail here into a bow just to get it out of the way and to remind myself that that's not what I'm knitting from. You're going to be using your working yarn, which is the yarn that's coming from your ball of yarn. So holding the needle in my left hand now, I'm going to scooch the stitches up, and always when I start a row, I remind myself to pull the yarn down into the back. So with your other hand, with your right hand, you can pick up your needle and come to the left side of the stitch, and you put the needle right in to the back of your left hand needle. And then the yarn is going to go up and in between the two needles. And then with a little bit of tension, I pull the yarn through, and then this slips off. So again, to the left hand, the left side of that stitch, that next stitch, put my needle in, wrap it up and around, and then bring the yarn down and through. And then this part has to come off. So there is a little nursery rhyme that that we used to sing to first graders when I would teach them how to knit, and it goes, under the fence to catch a sheep, pull him through, and away he leaps. Under the fence to catch a sheep, pull him through, and away they leap. So if you don't want to repeat that to yourself over and over again, the important thing to remember there is that there are 4 steps. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll need to do all those to complete the step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Under the fence to catch a sheep, pull him through, and away they leap. Under the fence to catch a sheep, pull him through, and away they leap. So you just keep repeating those 4 steps for each stitch that you have on your needle. And when you get to the very end, which I'm about to now, I'll show you the next step. All you do here is, now that this needle is free, I take the needle that has all the stitches back into my left hand, and the tip is pointing to my right, same as when we started the last row. And you can see what I mean here about this first stitch, which always kind of looks a little bit wonky, especially in the beginning. So it's a really good practice to just remember to pull the yarn down into the back. When you do that, it makes it more clear as to where you're supposed to be putting this needle. But that's it, and you just continue on knitting row after row. Could do this for quite a lot. Knit yourself a big long garter scarf or something. And you'll kind of probably, change the way that you're holding the yarn or holding the needles over time. And there are several, there are lots and lots of ways to knit, but one thing to remember is to bring the yarn up and through, up and over here in between the 2 needles, not coming from the back, not wrapping around twice, but just up and over and down low. I hold my working yarn in my left hand, weaving it through my fingers like this, and with just enough tension to be able to pull stitches through, but loose enough that the yarn can slide through my fingers. And then when I come to the end of this row, it'll be just the same as before. This needle is now free, and I will turn this around down into the back, and you'll be ready to go again.